Hey, BassGeek here. We're going to talk to you about 3 baits for July. Yeah, I know I'm late, but better late than never. Besides, you know I like to do things a little different. Hey, what's going on, guys? My new buddy and a longtime subscriber, by the way, from around here. Just caught him a fish on a jig. I'm gonna let him introduce himself.
What's up, guys? My name's Connor. I've been watching old BassGeek for probably about 3 years now.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I've been watching his videos and I seen the spots out here he comes and fishes, and I was like, hey, it looks pretty familiar. And then started throwing some of the stuff he was recommending to catch fish, and yeah.
All right, man. Guys. You got any social media, Instagram or anything?
Yeah, but I don't hardly get on it. It ain't even worth it hardly.
All right. Well, get an Instagram, man. Let everybody follow you. Get on there. You know.
I got one. It's Connor Horn 26. Yeah, _26.
All right, Connor Horn _26. Check him out, guys. Hey, I appreciate you, man.
No problem. I appreciate you for letting me fish with you out there.
That's all right, man. That was fun. All right, guys. You know me. I'm just doing some graphing. You guys know I love to fish for suspended or ledged bass, whatever you want to call them. Those deep bass in the summertime. But look at the sky right now. Look at what's going on. The sun's up, guns are out, and it's hot out. So this time of day, when the grind gets real, I like to do things a little bit different. So let's talk about that. Uh-oh, I got the transducer hot. Good thing we dunked it, I guess. It's all right. We ain't gonna really need it with doing what we're doing, because we're gonna go flip that log. So as always, I've got my tungsten, my canine. This is 20-pound fluoro. I'm using my Team Lose. This is the skipping pitching reel. And so far, guys, I'm loving this thing. Pretty awesome. And as always, my Dixie Custom meat stick, 7/6, heavy, fast action. Yeah, so I know what you're all thinking. You're thinking, holy crap, are we gonna actually see Hank do something shallow? Well, yes and no. I am gonna flip the shallow part, but I'm gonna start out here on this tree kind of deep, like 20-ish feet, because the creek channel runs right up against this. So yeah, I'm gonna fish deep to shallow. What a surprise. But that brings me to one of my very favorite things to do, and that is flip. And that's flip anything during the summer, whether it be skipping docks with some sort of skipping jig, whether it be skipping overhangs or whatever you want to skip, to flipping one of my favorites, and probably this is my favorite, and this is a rage bug, a structure bug, whatever you want to call it, by Strike King. And I'll put anywhere from, since I'm going to be flipping deep, a 3/8 ounce, but a lot of times a 3/16, a 1/8, a 1/4 will do you just fine. So let's see if there's some fish in this tree. Now, the one thing about when I'm flipping a tree, right, when I'm flipping anything, clear water, I tend to wait a little longer, especially shallower, when I get in those little shade pockets. Out deeper, they're either going to follow it down and they're going to eat it on the first couple of pops or not. And sometimes I'm not even moving the bait off the ground. I'm just kind of popping that weight. And then I'll give it a hop and a drop. Now this water's probably 5-8 foot clear, and I can see the tree pretty good. So now I can actually start hitting some holes in it. And one thing I want to do when I'm coming up on a piece of structure like this is I never want to turn the trolling motor toward it, because you're going to blow it out immediately. And I'm hitting the main spots. And I'll tell you this, a lot of times when I see a lot of small fish, those big bass will move up and feed, but a lot of times, if those small fish will be there and just be out in the open, those big bass may not be there. Now, I will tell you, sometimes in the summer, let it soak. You wouldn't believe how many times I've dropped it into a place like this and be, I'm not hitting my trolling motor, I don't get blown in on it, but just by letting it soak, that bass will come up and eat it. I've done it on this tree more than once and pulled out 4s, 5s, 6s. Okay, so the other thing I do when it comes to midday or late day when the sun's out is I like to throw a worm. I like to drag a worm around, and that can take a ton of different forms. This time of year in July, a great worm is just a big 10-inch worm. Oh, ooh, oh, I'm upset, didn't get one. Angler tungsten weight on there. This is a quarter, so I'm using a 1/4 ounce, and this is, I've got a flipping weight on there right now. Generally I'd like a worm weight, but I'm coming through trees right now, so the flipping weight works pretty good. That is a Zoom, a standard trick worm in Green Pumpkin Magic. Gamakatsu, that's a 3/0 EWG, and this is a speed spool 7.5 to 1, and this is my Tournament Concepts jig and worm rod by Akuma, 7-foot heavy action. It's got a really great tip on it. If you can see, you can fish anything from a 3/16 to a 1 ounce. So it is a great rod for doing just this. Plenty of backbone to set the hook and get them out of that stuff. And I am running 15-pound Pro 100 on this. But when it comes to the worm itself, guys, I like a ton of different worms this time of year. Big 10-inch Texas rigs, ribbon tails, 8-inch, 7-inch, straight tails. Clearwater, I'm going to use straight tails. I'm going to probably use just anything that I feel like using this time of year. Shaky heads, mag shaky heads, regular shaky heads. This is the time of year when I'm throwing a ton of worms. So if you ask me if I got worms in July, I'm gonna say yes. But again, I'm targeting the same sort of things. And I'll tell you what, not all laydowns are created equal. Generally, think of laydowns or blowdowns, whatever you want to call them, as rest stops, right? So we've got the creek channel that swings off of that bank and up through here on the tips of these. So if there is an area that has laydowns that come way out and you can get below, that's another thing. But I like to know that I can get, that the fish can get up underneath the big body of the tree, the trunk of the tree. And a big reason for that is just simply, I know big fish can hide there. It's really like a rest stop. So when you're throwing a big worm or you're trying to pick, oh gosh, that's 2 hits in this tree. Ooh, how am I not getting, oh, you're breaking my heart, Alice. And again, this is I don't have this one pegged. There's certain times, certain reasons that I'll peg a bait. This is not the time to peg a bait right now. This is when I want it to drop, to hang across limbs. But you really got to think about laydowns as stopping points for the bass. Whew. I'm gonna fish this tree for a minute. All right, guys, now it is time to put a little wobble with our wiggle. All right, guys, so like I said, this is my wobble head setup, and again, one of my favorite things in the world to put on a wobble head is a structure bug. That's the Strike King head right there, the football head. Now, it's not going to come through grass as well. They make another one, but you can't interchange the hooks. I swear to God, a bass just jumped right in front of me. I knew there was some grass right there, and that'd be a good spot. I seen the fish in it on my live scope. But anyway, this is my Tournament Concepts. You can see it's my flipping jig rod, but I like a good long rod, 7/6. I like to make a long cast, 1/4 ounce to 1.5 ounces. So 7.6 heavy fast action. And this is a Helios by Akuma, 6.6 to 1. Any sort of 6.6, 6.8, any sort of middle, I don't like it too fast, because if you're cranking, which you can crank this and they're super weedless, you can get it off the bottom. But 15 to 17, I like 17 pound K9 Pro 100 on this. This is a perfect place for a wobble head. We got a long point, a lot of rock, got a little bit of grass out here on the tip of it, and we've got a little bit of rock with some bass and some shad. Now when it comes to a wobble head, I fish it a lot when I'm out deep, like you fish a Carolina rig. I just kind of sweep it to the side, feel what's on the bottom, and take up the slack. So the thing about wobble heads, guys, I like the ones, the Strike King Tungsten. This is a 3/4 ounce. It's small. I can interchange. I can put whatever hook size, whatever hook I want on there. And guys, I've caught some big fish on that. Whoo, man, it is hot out here today. But those are 3 styles of baits. You know, I always kind of give you styles of baits. But those are 3 styles of baits that, you know, I really do think you can go out in July, especially the end of July, and catch fish. Now, things are going to change up when we get to August, and you'd think more dragging, but that ain't always the case. We'll talk about that in the August top 3 baits video. But anyway, let me know what you guys catch them on in July. Tell me what you're catching them on out there right now. Like I said, you know, I always try to do things a little bit different than everybody else. I try to do things a little different, try to be a little bit different. I think having a different approach to people will help you put more fish in the boat or on the bank or in your waders. I don't know. Anyway, all that being said, tell me what you guys are doing in July. And as always, questions in the comments in the comment section below. You guys know I love to talk about fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure you guys ring that bell so you get the notifications. Best way to support the channel, watching. I appreciate that too. As always, you guys rock.